from Europe's financial capitals. This is Squawk Box.
Good morning, everybody. We're live from Zurich. I'm Jeff Cutmore. It's about 20 after 7 local time here. We're talking about the Swiss banking industry and how it restores its reputation. Bernard Bauhofer is with me from Sparring Partners, and that's his business, helping companies restore their reputation. So how does Switzerland pull itself back from the damage that's been done as a result of this whole banking secrecy issue?
Well, the thing is, if there's a way back, the big question is how will Switzerland, the whole Swiss financial industry, move to the future? I think they have to adapt to a completely global changed environment with new legislation, with new requirements concerning transparency. Corporate governance is a big issue, and the onshore banking is the future business model in banking, and this is something Switzerland has to learn, especially the two big players, UBS and Credit Suisse.
So it's inevitable that the Swiss ultimately have to let go of this whole idea of Switzerland being an offshore haven where privacy of client confidentiality is the most important thing. That has to go.
It will have to go. I think the world is so much interconnected, and the IRS tax dispute showed that the pressure from outside is so big. We will see that banks will have to adapt to integrate new business models, like the private banks are already doing, and that's what inevitably has to happen. Switzerland will have to move, and it is already moving.
How do they make that happen more quickly? I mean, here we are, we've been talking to banks in Switzerland for weeks, and yet we have very little representation throughout the day here. They just do not want to communicate. They do not want to use the media as an opportunity to get their message out that things are actually changing.
Well, I agree. The majority is still waiting for the things to get back to the past, and they love to have a good life, and they just really were benefiting from this business model. But the new Swiss National Bank president is absolutely committed to change the importance, the dominance of the finance industry in Switzerland, and also to reduce the power of the UBS and Credit Suisse. This too big to fail argument is not an argument for him, and I'm quite optimistic that he will make big changes.
Doris Leuthard becomes the president of the council next year. She seems very progressive. Do you see a radical change in the way politically this issue is handled?
Yes, I feel there are changes, but the big strength Switzerland has was neutrality. The big risk is now isolation, and it's really a weakness that Switzerland is not part of the G20 and the big international institutions. So it's quite isolated. I'm not so sure if the politics and policy is really strong enough to make big changes.
Bernard, good to have you here. Thanks very much for talking with us. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back to talk about the currency markets and what happens with the Swiss franc from here. Stay tuned. We'll see you in a moment from Switzerland.